Hello everybody and welcome to the third round of the NXTGEN Racing Mazda MX5 Cup here from Zandvoort. This is going to be another fantastic day of racing, that is for certain. It was wet before the weekend began, therefore drivers went out around this circuit on their wet tyres. It was a damp surface. It has dried up over the course of the last 45 minutes during the practice session, and we have about 15 more minutes left to go for these drivers to get that circuit completely ready for qualifying and race number one on the dry compounder tyres. We do have a number of drivers heading out there on those dry tyres now. A little bit of spray still being kicked up off of the rear wheels, but surely in the next 15 minutes with more drivers heading around, it should be nice and dry going up towards race number one. Choice of tyre, though, in qualifying, still up for grabs at the moment. Of course, last week out at Brands Hatch, we did not need to discuss whether there was a possibility of rain because it was absolutely chucking it down by the middle point of that event. Race number two, it came down, and it came down extremely hard. And we saw the wet tyre runners move up the field and get past the dry tyres. A lot of the dry tyre runners pitting last week, some of them choosing to stay out, and the choices were then thought about after the race. Here, however, no expectation of rain as the event goes on. It was just some wet weather before the start of the practice session here today. Talking about weather then, it is looking really clear for the three races tonight. We got some clouds filling up the sky. It's a little bit sunny out there, but it is very cloudy as well throughout the evening. So make sure that you've got your dry tyre strapped on for the last two races, but at the moment qualifying and race one up in the air about what is best. Like I say, those dry tyres are being tested at the moment in the practice session. Jamie Dory, Tom Davidson, Carl Thompson all trying the dry compound of tyre. So having a look then last week, we were at Brands Hatch, at Monza for the starting round. We are here at Circuit Zandvoort for round number 3, and we head off to the streets of Long Beach next week as we head around the tightest circuit on the calendar. It's going to be extremely fun to see how these drivers are able to get through. Is it going to be carnage? Is it going to be sensible? We'll have to wait until next week to find out. If you are watching on Facebook, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and share the video with your friends. Be also sure to follow the page. If you are watching over on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up so that you don't miss any of the future races. And if you're watching on Twitch, make sure you hit that follow button too so that you aren't missing any of the broadcasts over there either. We then head across to Motorland Aragon for the final round in November. That's on the 25th. And then we head across to Red Bull Ring. A lot of slipstreaming going there. Could it be a repeat of Monza? Of course, a lot of incidents at Monza due to the heavy slipstreaming that circuit produces. Will we see the same at Red Bull Ring? And for that matter, at round number 7 of Thruxton on the 9th of December. We end this season on the 16th of December at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It is going to be a fast-flowing way to end the season and to bring the 2025 year here at NXTGEN to a close. And make sure you do not miss that one. In fact, I think that date is completely wrong. It's not even the 16th, is it? It is going to be... No, it is the 16th. Okay, that date is not wrong, I think. I don't know. That date's been wrong for weeks. It could still be wrong. Who knows? Okay, I believe it's the 16th. Anyway, that is the calendar then. Let's have a look at the track that we're racing at tonight for round number 3. It is Zandvoort, located in North Holland of the Netherlands, of course. Right on the coastline, right by the beach. We are going through the undulating circuit, through the dunes, ups and downs, and a very flowing circuit this one is. I think it's the most complex circuit we have gone to so far this season. And therefore, drivers are going to really be needing to showcase their skills to find their way to the front. And at the moment, the pro drivers doing exactly that in this practice session. The majority of the pros towards the top. As we talk about the two classes, actually, there have been a few changes to the classes as we go into this third round of the season. This is where we expected there to be a couple of changes. So we see William Kurtler head into the Pro-Am Championship, so he'll be fighting for points in that one. And then Sam Spinell and Craig Twardock, both race winners in the Pro-Am category, they are both going through to the Pro category. So we will see them with the black background to their names, white background to William Kurtler's name, as we have a look actually at the standings. And we will start then with that Pro-Am category without Spinell and Twardock now in the Pro-Ams. It is Alan McCain who leads the way in the Pro-Am standings with 81 points. He sits 8 points clear of Carl Thompson. But Thompson and Nigel Stock, they are tied level on 73 points apiece. It's Phil McDougall who sits in 4th in the Pro-Am category at the moment, and Sam Smith in 5th. Smith just a point ahead of Josh Brown, who is tied with William Kurtler moving into the Pro-Am standings for the rest of the season. Mark Sykes, he sits just a couple of points back and is on 49 points ahead of Toby Cole, and Craig Jones rounds out the top 10 in the Pro-Am standings. If you want to find out all of the standings, be sure to join the NXTGEN Racing Discord and you can have a look at the full results and standings over there. Let's have a look across to the Pro standings then, and that sees Adam Delmont at the top with 92 points clear. 92 points to his name. He is 8 points clear of Kieran Sharp, who sits on 84, who is a further 8 points clear of Isaac Doble. Jamie Dury then sits in 4th ahead of Mikey Doble, who has 57 points, just 1 point behind Dury. And Nick Clibbin sits a further few points back in 6th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Craig Twardock, as I said, moving across to the Pro standings now, and he is in 8th place with 49 points. So he'll be wanting to move up the order this weekend. And he is currently he is currently 4 points ahead of Ben Oucho, who sits in 9th. And then Sam Spinell also moving into that Pro class this weekend. He sits in 10th. And again, that's your top 10 standings of the Pros. If you want to see all of the standings, head across to the NXTGEN Discord. Looking at the results then from the previous races, I've wanted to focus on the race winners because I thought, do you know, it's been interesting on who has been able to find their way to the front. And in the Pro-Ams, Twardock was there heavily. That's why he's been promoted up to the Pro category. So Twardock won the second and third race back in Monza, and he won the opening round at Brands Hatch. So he has taken 3 class victories. To get a class victory now, he is going to have to take an overall win, of course, which he has yet to do. So it is a lot to ask for Twardock if he wants to find his way back onto the winner's podium. Spinell as well, he won the first round of the season, the first race of the season all the way back in Monza. He has yet to repeat that feat in the Pro-Am class. He's no longer there, he's up in the Pros. So he is again going to have to win overall in order to take that. Smith and Cole are the other 2 drivers to take a win in the Pro-Am category. Smith taking the win in the second race at Brands Hatch, Cole in the third. Adam Delmont's been doing a good job so far this season. He's won the opening race at both Monza and Brands Hatch. He has yet to win anything other than the opening race, however. But he is the only driver in the Pro category and of the overall races, race victories, to have taken more than 1 win. Back in Monza, we saw Mikey Doble take home take home the win in the second race, and Davidson took home the win in the last race of the day. And in Brands Hatch, Clibbins moved through in those wet conditions, of course, moved through to take the win in the second race, and Isaac Doble took the win in the last race at Brands Hatch. So will we see Adam Delmont once again at the front of the field at the end of race number 1? Will we see him take the front of the field in any of the other races? Will we see some new names out front? And at the moment, I said Spinell, he only won the Pro-Am category once. He's yet to win an overall. He's sitting exactly where he needs to be in this practice session right now because he is sitting in first place, ahead of previous winners, Adam Delmont, Nick Clibbins, and Isaac Doble. Sitting 5th in this session right now, Craig Twardock. So the 2 Pro-Am drivers that have been promoted to the Pro class from round 3 onwards, so for the rest of this season, currently the fastest and 5th fastest overall in this session. The top 13 in this session, all Pro drivers. And at the moment, it's only Michael Clough and Adam Wilson-Weir in the Pro class without a lap time on the board. Sorry, with a lap time on the board. That is not with the other pros. They're the only ones mixed in with the Pro-Ams right now, and I'm looking more drivers heading out on the dry compound of Tyre at the moment. If you are new to this series and you have not seen one of these races before, then make sure that you head over to the BeehiveBillBroadcasting YouTube channel, because there are extended highlights available to watch over there, so you can watch the whole evenings of races in just half an hour to catch yourselves up, and then you can get started. In fact, if you start watching it right about now, you should be able to get there just in time to watch the first round of the event before you come back across here for the third one. So as we continue around here in the practice session, like I said, if you are new around here, you might not be sure how this event works. Well, we've got 3 races coming your way tonight following our qualifying session. 15 minutes our drivers are going to have out on the track to do that qualifying session, as we see a lovely little donut happening there in front of us. In fact, I think I can see an issue, as I do see an issue that we will fix in 1 second time. We look at the race one, then that's going to be about a 15-minute race. It will be done by laps, but it is going to be an approximate 15-minute race. Grid order set by our qualifying session. Race number 2, that will be the same length of running, and that will have the top 15 drivers will be reversed for that one, and the third and final race of the day. That's our longest race. It's going to be about 10 minutes longer than the other 2, and that is going to see a full reverse grid as long as drivers are no more than 1 lap down. As we are just going to get back across this screen quickly for a moment, as I just noticed once again the same issue with trading paint just loading in there, so we will get that sorted. And now I can see an even bigger issue on my screen, which needs to go away. I can see Discord on my screen, which is never a great sign. As we go over here. Perfect. Okay. Just wanted to fix everything because I know how it all goes. Let's go across back here then, because this practice session is almost over. 3 minutes left on the clock, and like I said, Spinale being one of the fastest out there. However, Adam Delmont, he's won both of the opening races so far in both of the opening rounds. He sits in 2nd in this practice session, and who knows? In the qualifying session, can he find his way just 1 step forward, get himself on pole, put himself in the perfect position to take a 3rd victory this season and take it once again in the opening race. William Kurtler dropped down to the Pro-Am category for this week. He sits in 1st place in class right now, and that is ahead of Nigel Stock, about 0.2 of a second between them. But as we know, Kurtler is about, I think it was 7th, I want to say, in the Pro-Am standings. So actually needs some good results here in order to move up those standings and see if we can get yet another new name to the front of the Pro-Ams. We won't see Spinell or Twardock at the front there. Will we see Smith or Cole repeat their race wins from last week? Now, I'm just having a look here. Smith has the possibility. He's 5th in class. Cole is not actually here, so we won't see Cole repeating his race win from last week, but we could see Smith repeat his race win. He's like I said, he's 5th in class. In regards to points at the moment, in regards to points at the moment, it is, so that you know if you are new around here, the pro drivers, they get their points from overall position, whereas your Pro-Am drivers get their points from their class positions. So right now, the field is pretty much sorted, Pro into Pro-Am. Clough and Wilson Weir, the only two drivers mixed in there. So they will want to get their way ahead of the Pro-Am drivers because those points do matter to the Pro drivers. They don't to the Pro-Ams. It's the overall bragging rights for the Pro-Am if they're able to take a win. We're yet to see a Pro-Am driver take an overall race win, and that includes in the full reverse race in race number 3. However, we have been close. We've been extremely close. Twadok almost taking that win in Monza. Spinale almost taking a win at Monza as well. Not as close at Brands Hatch, however. I think that slipstream was definitely a benefit to the Pro-Am drivers, getting them up the order. Right. Practice session is now over, and we are going to prepare ourselves for the start of the qualifying session. About a quarter of the field there on dry tyres by the end. Doesn't look too wet, but as we were watching cars go past the screen, it certainly looked like there was still some water splashing up and around. So I'm sure that they will be wanting to stay nice and safe, and I'm sure we'll see some of them coming out on those wet tyres. In fact, as the session progressed there, it looks even drier than it did before. That being said, Spinale is out and is out on wet tyres. The wipe is still going on the cars behind. As not a good start to qualifying there for Lee Horn. We'll have to go back down pit lane in order to get his black flag cleared. Sam Spinell then, the first driver out and around here, promoted into that pro class for this week and for the rest of the season. Fastest in practice, got Jamie Dory just behind. That's Kieran Sharp out of pit lane behind that, I believe. McGuinness also needing to revisit pit lane to get rid of that black flag. Now, Jamie Dory is risking this on dry compounder tyres, whereas most of the field are coming out on wet. This is going to be an interesting decision here by Jamie Dory. Is it going to be the right call to get onto these dry tyres in the early stages of the session? I mean, you could start the session on wets, get yourself some banker laps in, and then if it dries up towards the end, get yourself out there on dries. But this is high-risk strategy from Jamie Dory, and around he goes. It's a strategy that doesn't look like it is going to play out because those tyres are going to be extremely hot now as he gets back going in a cloud of dust. So I believe for those dry tyres not really going the way that he wanted. Adam Wilson-Weir is also out there on dry tyres. In fact, he is part of this massive gaggle of drivers heading up now towards chicane. That's Jamie Dory going extremely slowly. Is he going to be backing out of his attempted qualifying lap on those dry tyres, or is he just backing out, finding some space and getting in a bit of a chance to cool down his tyres? That's the question. We are going to ride on board with Adam Wilson-Weir here. He is running on the dry compounder tyres. So let's see what Wilson-Weir is able to do as he comes up towards the timing line. He is in a big, strong tow from the drivers ahead right now. You can see there is a dry line out there on the circuit. In fact, through turn number 1, no spray at all from the cars ahead. A little bit of a wider line from Wilson-Weir there. But it does look like it is going to be ready for dries. Yes, we saw Dory go around. However, for the most part, it is looking rather dry out there through the first banking. And a really nice line from Wilson-Weir here. He is closing up to the cars in front of him. Of course, being in a qualifying session like this where all the cars are out on track, yes, you're going to get the benefit because you're going to get the tow, but at the same time, you're going to get hindered because you are sat right behind the driver through parts where you could be running faster. In fact, as we see here, Adrian Fritsch sitting ahead of Wilson-Weir here is just going to be slowing Wilson-Weir down on his soft tyres, and he's going to have to go onto an alternate line if he wants to go for the overtake there. He brakes early. Still puddles around the circuit here as that is a spin up ahead. A couple of cars into the wall there. And it looks like that is not the way that they wanted to get their qualifying begun, and exactly the same place we saw Jamie Dory go around. Adam Wilson-Weir has gone around on those dry tyres. Isaac Doble's coming through now. That section there just seems to be a little bit more water than elsewhere on the circuit. So I think that section seems to be the place catching out these dry tyre runners. It didn't catch out Isaac Doble here, who is running on a hot lap. This is going to be a good comparison now to see what sort of lap times we're running with these dry tyres in comparison to the wet tyres. Sharp currently overall faster ahead of Spinell and Twadok. Spinell and Twadok both gone up into those pro categories for this week. Adam Delmont moves into third, but there is a lot of time between Kieran Sharp and the rest of the field, and I think some back markers are playing into that. Trying to get the toe at the right point can hinder you when you get onto the corners. Where does Isaac Doble go? Doble goes into fourth place, and that is on dry tyres. So Doble has just matched Delmont's time, just 0.02 of a second off, and has done that on the dry compounder tyre here. So I think by the end of this session, everyone is going to have attempted at least one lap on the dry tyres, as that was Jamie Dory off the circuit just up ahead. Dory once again trying these dry compounder tyres. You can see that there are parts of the circuit where there is no dry line. It is damp all the way across the track, but these drivers are doing their best to get them around, and Doble just carrying too much speed, pushing too hard, and goes off the circuit. He does hold it from getting into a crash though. This is Craig Twadok. Twadok running on the wet compounder tyre, sits in 6th place right now. Finished practice in 5th, and will be wanting and hoping to move through and up towards the front of the field. Twadok taking 3 Pro-Am victories before he was promoted to the Pro class for this week. Can he take his first pro victory in his first week in that class? Let's find out. The 200 machine through the final turn now and up towards the timing line. What does Craig Twadok do? As Spinell goes fastest overall. Purple lap for Sam Spinell. An improvement from Twadok moves him into 5th. But Spinell is the fastest man out there. Spinell, the other driver to get promoted up to the pro class this week, and is wanting to prove his worth out there in the 113 machine. Only taking 1 victory in the Pro-Am class. That was at the very first race of the season. Will he take his first victory in the Pro class and the overall race in his first race in that class? 8 minutes on the clock as Adam Wilson-Weir sets in a more representable lap time without going around this time. He goes into 9th place. William Kurtler joining the Pro-Am class for the first time this week. He sits 6/10 off of Phil McDougall, who is the fastest Pro-Am driver at the moment, but Kurtler does find himself 2nd in that class. 8 minutes on the board for drivers putting their lap times. We're still waiting for Jamie Dory to get in a valid lap and to put a lap time on the board. Still running on those dry compounder tyres. At the moment, the fastest man on dries is Mikey Doble in 3rd. Then it's Isaac Doble in 5th. Then it is Craig Twadok in 7th. And Dory just isn't going to be able to put in that lap this time either. Gets a bit too much over the curb, and those curbs are dangerous in the wet as it is. Do them on dry compounder tyres in the wet, and you are going to find yourself spinning off into the gravel, just like Doble, my word, just as Dory did there. Andrew Pike moves into 4th place at the moment. He sets 0.06 of a second out of Adam Delmont. Delmont will be wanting to try and take a pole position here, at least a front row start, as Kieran Sharp improves past Sam Spinell and goes fastest, because Adam Delmont has won the opening race of each round so far. Will he be able to keep that stat going as he jumps down pit lane and out of the way? As this is Alan McCain. McCain, he leads the Pro-Am Championship now. With Twadok and Spinell promoted to pros, it has put Alan McCain into the perfect position in that championship, right at the top of it, with a nice gap as well as Isaac Doble improves, but then Adam Wilson-Weir goes fastest overall by just 0.04 of a second quicker than Kieran Sharp, and that was set on dry tyres. So dry tyres are now the tyre to be on. So Adam Wilson-Weir is putting in his laps on dries. Drivers are going to want to set their times on dries. Adam Delmont comes out on a dry set as well. He was running wet before, so this is Delmont's Hail Mary as he wobbles. Keeps it out of the barrier though, does not do a Formula One style entry into that corner and hit the barrier. He keeps it going the right way, but that will knock a little bit of confidence out of him on this outlap, and hopefully by the end of it he will regain it as he continues to push. Adrian Fuchs right now, he's also on the dry compound tyre. There's a spin in front of him, so he actually has to slow down. Pike finds some time there in 4th position and goes past both the Dobles. Adam Delmont now down to 7th place, but that is because the top 6 lap times have all been set on dry tyres. So showing you right now, those dry tyres are the ones to be on. So drivers, if you're out there on the wets, quick, you have just enough time to get down pit lane, as that was Ben Oucher facing the wrong way. You have just enough time to get down pit lane and get out there for 1, maybe 2 push laps, a lap time being 2 minutes long. So if you get in there just in time, you can get yourself 2 push laps. As around goes Adam Delmont. This time doesn't keep it facing the right way. Is going to keep it off of the circuit here just to get him himself facing the right way, but that is going to heat the rear tyres now as he heads up towards the end of the lap. We are going to run on board with Adam Delmont here to see what he is able to do. Delmont has started well in all races, well, in all the rounds so far, winning the opening race in each of the 2 that we've had so far. Can he do 3 races? He is out now on dry tyres, but it is still damp out there, which means you need to keep it on the racing line, on that dry line. Delmont going in hard into turn 1. The wobble and the spin has not taken away his confidence as Lee Horn finds a substantial amount of time here. A spin ahead of Delmont. It's going to keep him off of his perfect line. A little bit of a wobble there, but Horn has found 0.7 of a second on his dry tyres. So that proving to you more than anything now, these dry tyres are going to get the fastest lap, and there are a lot of drivers out there on dries, but there are still drivers out there on the wet compound tyre. They are not going to find themselves towards the front. A wobble from Delmont. He holds it, he keeps it going the right way, but a huge wobble there. He is pushing it hard. He is touching almost every apex, every curb here. You don't want to touch the ones that are covered in water. Gravel on the outside. And this is where we've seen so many cars go around on the dry tyres. Can Delmont keep it facing the right way? He does. He takes it easy. There's a spin ahead as Murray Adams now moves into the front. Kieran Sharp improves. We're going to see a flurry of quick laps at the end here on these dry tyres. Into the chicane. Delmont lost it on the exit last time. He doesn't back out of it though. He pushes hard. He's going to come up towards the final turn now. Spinell goes fastest. Out of the penultimate turn. Getting up the inside of the number 96 machine there. As that was, I'm trying to figure out who 96 is as it falls down the order. As it's going to be a huge improvement from Jamie Dorey. Finally getting a good lap time on the board from multiple spins. Adam Delmont moves from 14th to 3rd. Is high up the field, will get one last opportunity here. Lee Horn goes even faster. Isaac Doble out there at the moment looking to go fast. Like I say, we're going to see a flurry of lap times at the end of this qualifying session as drivers who are out there on dry tyres are now going to go fast. Craig Twardock finds a huge amount of time. 7/10 at the front of the field right now. But that could be cut significantly in just 2 corners' time as drivers come through the final part of the lap. We're watching Isaac Doble. He gets onto the back straight. A little bit of a kick out on the rear. He's pushing hard. He gets onto the gravel. No, there won't be an improvement for Isaac Doble. He'll move no higher than 14th place. Jamie Dory now. It took him a while to get a lap time on the board. He started this session on dries. They came into their own at the end. Andrew Pike moves up into second, unable to touch Twadok's lap time of a 54.1. Murray Adams moves into third. Kieran Sharp moves to second. It's not enough to displace Twadok from pole. It's a 10th between them. Twadok could have this here as we go towards the final 2 corners from Jamie Dory. He found a significant amount of time. Last lap, can he find 1.5 seconds? Sam Spinale goes second, 0.08 of a second. The 2 drivers promoted to pro. On the front row of the grid at the moment, will that be disrupted by anyone behind? Jamie Dory crosses the line. Is it going to be an improvement? It is, but only for third. Look how close those top 3 are, but it's not going to be enough. He does have one more lap to push it as Adam Dalmont steals pole at the end there. Drivers will finish the lap times that they are on. Tom Davidson crosses the line. Will it be an improvement for him? It will, a huge improvement, up to 7th. These dry tyres that drivers have gone on at the end, seeing huge changes in the positions. Will Jamie Dory find time? Twadok is no longer running. Sam Spinale is. Could Spinale put it back on to pole position here? But we see Twadok and Spinale, both drivers promoted up to pro this week. Both of them right in the mix of it, and you can see why they've been moved up to the top class. Onto the brakes here for Spinale, taking the curbing heavy in the dry tyres. It is a risk, but he's pushing hard, looking for that time. Murray Adams takes 2nd place away. Kieran Sharp takes that 2nd place away. It's not enough to displace Adam Dalmont. Can Sam Spinale displace Dalmont from provisional pole? Across the line comes Sam Spinale. It's a huge lap. Is it a valid lap? It is. A 52.898 from Sam Spinale. Doble moves to 5th. But what a time. Is Adam Dalmont going to find anything on this lap? Dalmont's gone off the track. It's an invalid lap from Dalmont. As Cheverton and Gardner move to 9th and 10th. Sam Spinale joining the pro class here this weekend at Zandvoort puts it on pole. And I think that is going to be all drivers over with their laps. Which means Sam Spinale will start the first race from the front of the field. Adam Dalmont, however, has won race number 1 at both Monza and Brands Hatch. Can he repeat that feat here at Zandvoort? But no one can question that time from Sam Spinale. It looks like a huge spread on that field, but that's because drivers were just finding their time on those dry tyres, and we will definitely see a grid full of dry tyres in the first race and all of the future races as well, because there is no rain forecast throughout the races. 8 laps then on the board for this one. That being said, it does look like we will see some wet tyres out there. Is it drivers who have forgotten to swap onto the dry tyres? Possibly Sammy Uribe on wets. Zara McGuinness on wets, apparently. But we've got a lot of drivers on the dries. Let's have a look then at how this grid is going to line itself up here. For the first race of the day, it's Sam Spinell on pole ahead of Adam Delmont. Kieran Sharp will start third with Murray Adams in fourth place. Isaac Doble will start this one in fifth ahead of Craig Twardock in sixth. Andrew Pike took home seventh, and Jamie Doyle will start in eighth ahead of Cheverton and Gardner. Mikey Doble will start in 11th with Tom Davidson in 12th place. Lee Horn will start in 13th, and Sam Smith, the fastest of the Pro-Ams, will be in 14th ahead of Phil McDougall. Nick Clemens will start in 16th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir, and Alan McCain will start in 18th position. Ben Oucher will start in 19th ahead of William Kurtler. Adrian Futch will start in 21st with James Parfitt in 22nd place. 23rd is for Josh Brown, and Carl Thompson will be in 24th. Andy Outhouse will start this one in 25th place ahead of Mark Hughes. Michael Clough in 27th ahead of Zara McGuinness. Matt Gatto in 29th, Mark Sykes in 30th ahead of Craig Jones, Nigel Stock and Sammy Uribe. Then we'll have Harry McGovern and Leslie Brazil at the back of the field. We prepare ourselves then for the first race of 3. It is going to be an 8-lapped race around the Zandvoort circuit. Race number 2 will be the same with the top 15 reserves. We will then see a slightly longer race, and I'm going to expect about 12 or 13 laps for that final race of the day. Teammates lined up at the front of the field. Spinell on pole on that right-hand side of our screen. It will be the left-hand side of the circuit. Adam Delmont will start this one just behind. The engines revving as they prepare for the start of this race. It is, of course, the 7th race of the season. 2 victories for Adam Delmont, who starts in second. No one else in the overall race has been able to take more than 1 victory so far this season. Will that change here at Zandvoort? We prepare to get started. There is a jump start in the background, and Sam Smith will have to visit pit lane for that jump start, but we are away at the front, and Spinell heads up towards turn number 1 and will lead the way nicely ahead of Adam Delmont in second position. The rest of the drivers coming through, and it looks like they are going to remain clean. It's side by side in the midfield. That's the 88 of Mikey Doble getting pushed from behind. They head towards the first left-hander on the circuit. It's a long one, and then we're going to be going through the S's now. Are they going to settle themselves down? They can continue to run side by side, of course. Just up ahead, this is side by side Sam Smith and Matthew Cheverton. Smith with the black flag, of course, but bumping his way around. Now you can see that there are still patches of water on the circuit, still getting the spray, so drivers are going to need to be careful on the start of this one. Kieran Sharp just leads ahead of Murray Adams, as that's Craig Twardock diving up the inside of Isaac Doble. Twardock moves up into 5th place here. Doble looks now to get back towards the inside. Can't do anything just yet, and Twardock wanting to move up this field as we head towards that chicane. That's a spin around, and it is Sam Smith around. Black flag from a jump start at the beginning of the race. He has gone around, and it looks like he might be collected here, just avoiding that one. A huge slide from James Parfitt will fall down the order, but does manage to stay out of the way of any other driver, not collecting them. A good use of the brakes there to not roll into any other driver. As that looks like that is a wobble from Adam Delmont, and up the inside is Kieran Sharp now. Sharp moves into second place in this race and will hold that for the time being, but Murray Adams is going to push Delmont up towards turn number 1. The 2 teammates on the outside line here. You see slipstreaming going behind as well. It is side by side, and here comes Craig Twardock to get even more position following his teammate of Kieran Sharp. It is a checkerboard there of teams as we head through. Delmont just holds ahead of Kieran Sharp. Twardock now behind Sharp, and Isaac Doble behind Murray, who follows just behind. Is Kieran Sharp going to go for another move here on Adam Delmont? It certainly looked like there was an opportunity, but has to stick behind at the moment on this lap. There will be a chance as he looks just for a moment to the inside. A very dangerous overtaking location, and Sharp decides to back out of that one. But again, just letting know he is there as it is side by side behind, as Andrew Pike now moves up the inside of Isaac Doble. and Jamie Doyle behind. Doble winning the final race, of course, at Brands Hatch. And at the moment, he is just going backwards in this order. Back here then, James Parfitt went off the circuit. Well, had a bit of a spin earlier, half spin. He does hold on to 7th in class, however, is battling ahead between Mark Hughes and Andy Outhouse. Outhouse to the inside line, Hughes to the outside line. Once again, an overtaking chance here from Sharp up the inside of Delmont. Carries a huge amount of speed. Delmont trying to squeeze him wide, but Sharp keeps it there. Will now have the inside line and the help of Twaddock behind if Twaddock can carry the speed. And that is going to be Sharp pushing Delmont onto the gravel. And through goes Craig Twaddock and Murray Adams. Delmont down to 5th, Sharp down to 4th position. It's a fight for 2nd between Twaddock and Adams. A little bit of contact. Adams to the outside, that's going to be Adams around. A huge hit to the outside barrier from Murray Adams. He gets out of the way, but a huge accident there. As that was massive. Let's see if we can just get another look of that one. As Delmont's also gone off and is down as well. But it's just a little bit of contact, and I think that's Murray Adams moving just a little bit too far to the right. And that's Delmont going around all by himself through turn number 2. Back live though, and it has all changed at the front following that then. So Sam Spinell still up ahead and has almost 4 seconds over Craig Twaddock. The 2 drivers promoted into the pro class here. Doble looks to the inside of Kieran Sharp. Sharp just has no defence over that late dive from Doble, and Doble moves up onto the podium places now and will try to attack Craig Twaddock. Sam Spinell absolutely untouchable right now out front. Jamie Dory gets past Andrew Pike as Pike visited the gravel for just a moment. Cheverton now looks to the inside through the chicane. It's going to leave enough room up the inside for Pike to stay there. They are going to run side by side. Cheverton will have the inside line. Last lap we saw this happen at the front. It ended up with both drivers getting down and losing a lot of positions. But enough space led this time. That's Mikey Doble just behind now and trying to get through this field, pushing the 390 of Cheverton on the right hand side. Is he going to make it 3 wide? No, he's going to follow Cheverton down here, not wanting to get into too much of a fight at the moment. Is he going to do anything on the brakes? No, he stays where he is, but Doble does get up the inside of Pike. That was side by side for a moment ahead as well, but Pike going back at it on Mikey Doble here. Doble, it'll be the inside through the right hander. It's back to the outside here as Andrew Pike will hold that tighter line. The outside line, you can carry so much speed, and through goes Mikey Doble up to 7th as Wilson Weir gets past Davidson behind as well. This is the fight for 2nd. Craig Twaddock leads this one ahead of Isaac Doble. Kieran Sharp sits in 4th right now. Jamie Dory trying to get involved, just a few tenths back of this at the moment. It is then a bigger gap back to Isaac Cheverton. We'll get our intervals for you can see how close it is between each of your favourite drivers as you watch how they get on the left hand side of your screen. But right now it is again different racing lines here as Sharp looking to try and do something on Doble. Doble looking to do something on Twaddock, and Dory just holding on behind at the moment. Adam Delmont, he has won the opening races at the first 2 rounds. It won't happen here. He is now on a recovery drive. From where we caught it, it looked like it could have been a mistake on the wet part of the circuit that sent him spinning around, and that's a slide from Andrew Pike. That's going to invite Cheverton into this fight on the outside. Wilson Weir goes to the inside of Cheverton now, so Pike is actually going to be clear, and around goes Cheverton. He did have Wilson Weir up his inside. I think he was just focusing on the car ahead, and around they go. Here goes the fight once more for 3rd place. Sharp followed Doble to the right, then duck back to the left. Here we go up towards turn number 1. Who's going to get the better line now? Doble on the inside, Sharp on the outside. It is going to be Doble's line on the exit as well. Twadok, even with the fighting going on behind him, is not able to pull away from the cars that are chasing him down at the moment. Altria and Thompson there, alternating positions in the back. In fact, Thompson has just lost the position to Clough as well, as he allows the pro drivers through, as that's Mikey Doble around. What's happened here to Mikey Doble? It looks like a self-spin, too much speed, and around he goes, just avoided there, a good avoidance. But Doble now is also going to have to do a recovery. He's down in 17th place in this one, and has Michael Clough looking up his inside. Clough can't do anything about that though, and will have to remain behind for now. Mark Hughes will have to visit pit lane. He has got a black flag to serve as Delmont overtakes Phil McDougall. That is for 9th overall. McDougall leading the Pro-Am class. Now that position change will not affect McDougall's points. He will still be getting the points for winning Pro-Am. It will affect Delmont's points though, and he will get some extra points for finishing 9th instead of 10th, as that is around in the background. Twadok was on for a great result and has to find a way through. There is major damage on Twadok's machine. Was collected, but it looks like the start of that incident was all by his lonesome into the chicane. Twadok carries a lot of speed, gets the water on that tighter line, and a 1 wide. Collected by Kieran Sharp, but a huge amount of damage there, down and out of the races. Here comes Dory, Sharp on Doble. Dory up the inside of Sharp here. Sharp was momentarily looking to get past Doble, but it's a second. Dory holds that outside line. It is the faster line, but he's already dropped down. In fact, Sharp has carried some great speed on the inside. Here comes Dory, though, on the exit. As we continue to watch the fight for second, it constantly changing who's involved in this. Dory side by side with Sharp now. It's going to be stuck on the outside line, however. The long way round here. It's going to go to Kieran Sharp. Sharp's going to hold on to that final podium place for now. 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. Isaac Doble holds into second. 4 seconds down on Sam Spinell. Started this race on pole and is just dominating out front at the moment. He has the fastest lap of the race, has had no issues, and will be looking to take his first overall win and his first class win of any type since the first race of the season when he won Pro-Ams up to pros, and in his first race in the pros he's gone to pole and potentially straight to a win here. Backmarket getting out the way in this fight. Alan McCain goes down the order as he's around. Huge damage. And another self spin, and is it a collection from Altria? Huge amount of damage there. And not great for the Pro-Am Championship leader. Back to the fight at the front. Sharp's got the inside of Isaac Doble here. Sharp's going to hold that inside line. Doble backs out of it straight away. Doesn't want Dory to get up the inside, and he goes for the switch back on the exit to give him the inside line. In fact, he backs out of that one, just can't get the speed. And Dory on the outside now. Dory very wide, and they all get onto the racing line. That top line through the banking. Doble looking to carry some speed here to go on Sharp. Dory behind has dropped back about half a second, but it's no means out of the fight here as the 2 drivers in front continue to fight. Doble goes to the wider line, kicking up a little bit of water there, trying to get Sharp to overdrive it in second. He looks towards the inside, taps on his brakes. He doesn't want to make that move just yet. As this fight continues here for second, it looks like Zara McGuinness has had some sort of issue. She currently sits down at the back end of the top 20. Onto the back straight now, with Sharp leading, Doble leading Dory. There's also a fight going on behind. This is Davidson trying to get past Lee Horn. That's for 9th place. In his recovery drive, Adam Delmont has moved up the order to 7th place right now. Mikey Dable up to 11th, got 2 Pro-Ams in front of him that he will be wanting to dispatch to get those points for himself, with McDougall and Fitch both getting points in class for 1st and 2nd right now. Carl Thompson holding on to the final place in the Pro-Am class. Drivers ahead there, moving up towards the wall, but they are not fighting for position. The white flag is out, and this is a fight we're watching. Who's that off the circuit there? Oh, that was a fight for position, but a lap down, I think. It looks like it was Murray Adams. After going around in the exact same place last lap, he's gone around again, and he's been spun again by the 200 of Craig Twardock. That's twice. The first one, I would have argued, was potentially his own fault with moving across to the right. However, that one, there was nothing he could do about that. And it was Sharp who was involved in that initial contact. Was it Twardock who was involved in that initial contact, actually? It was one of those drivers. It was one of those teammates. Was it potentially a retaliation move there? It looked like it was, but it certainly didn't look accidental, is what I'm trying to say. Lee Horn and Gavin Gardner swap position there in 8th and 9th position, as up the inside of Sharp goes Doble. It makes Sharp run a slightly wider line there. It could have upset him going into the back end of this lap, but it doesn't look like it has. It hasn't, but right now Doble is all over the rear. Dory just behind that. Who is going to go for the move? Is anyone going to go for the move? And to the outside goes Isaac Doble on Kieran Sharp. Sharp places it perfectly through the chicane. Leaves just enough space on that inside, but it's still a little bit damp on that line. Here comes Doble. He moves to the left. It will be the long way around, however, to the final turn. He backs out early. He knows he's not going to get that position. We have a look, though, and it is Sam Spinale in his first race in the Pro class will take the victory. In second, who's going to come across the line? It looks like it'll be Kieran Sharp. Who in third? It's Isaac Doble ahead of Jamie Dory. Isaac Pike will come home in 5th position right now, as Gavin Gardner and David Thompson follow Adam Wilson-Weir across the line. Another chain of drivers coming through, and that's some heavy damage there from the 504 of Ben Oucher, but he does get that car across the timing line. William Kirtler in his first race in the Pro-Ams takes 5th in class. Half a tenth of a second between Doble and Dory on that one. But it is this man, Sam Spinale, who takes victory in his first race as a pro driver. His first class win since the first race of the season, and he takes a win in his first race in the pro class. Great job for Sam Spinale there. We will have a look at our full results then as everyone comes across the line to finish this race. Craig Jones, Murray Adams, Josh Brown all coming across the line a little while down. In fact, I think Murray Adams could be potentially out of this race following that second knock towards the end of that one. It is Sam Spinale who wins, however, here at the first race of the day. 2 more races coming your way if you are watching. Kieran Sharp, it came home in second, 0.2 of a second clear of Isaac Doble, who finishes half a tenth ahead of Jamie Dory and taking that final podium spot. It was Andrew Pike who took 5th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir and Adam Delmont. Gavin Gardner took home 8th and Tom Davidson in 9th. Phil McDougall took home 10th in that one. 11th place was Lee Horton ahead of Adrian Futch. Then it was Mikey Doble and Ben Oucher. Michael Croft took home 15th and Carl Thompson in 16th place. Matthew Cheverton came home in 17th at the end, ahead of Nigel Stock and William Kirtler. Nick Clibbins came home in 20th place. Alan McCain crossed the line in 21st, ahead of Sam Smith and Andy Outhouse. Leslie Brazil came home in 24th, ahead of Sammy Ariba, Mark Sykes and Matt Gatter. Zara McGuinness in 28th, ahead of James Parfitt and Craig Jones. A lap down, Craig Twardock, Mark Hughes, Josh Brown and Murray Adams. Adams getting caught up in a couple of those incidents in race number 1. But a great job from McDougall, though, in that Pro-Am class as well, because that is his first Pro-Am victory of the season. So good job to him. Let's see then if we are just able to have a little bit of a look at some of the incidents that occurred in this race then. So we obviously saw early doors, a few accidents happening. William Kurtler was actually involved in an accident in the number 32 machine apparently. Let's have a little look and see what happened to Kurtler in that one. It was contact from behind, and that's what sent him down the order as well. Of course, we saw this one live on the broadcast, but it actually, do you know what? Now that I'm watching that one again, they both sort of moved in to the middle, didn't they? Let's have another watch of that one, because they both seem to move to that centre line. They both squeeze each other, a little bit of a touch. No, I'm going to argue Adams was holding his line that entire time. Now that I watch that again, it looks like Adams was actually holding that line the entire time. Let's see if we can just catch on to Adams's second accident then. And this one happened with Twardok. Did that first one happen with Twardok? I missed it again. Let's have another look at that one, because that looks, I don't know. I don't know where Twardok thinks he's going in this one. He's behind. He moves to the left. And just, I don't know. Interesting to call. Fortunately, I'm up in the broadcast booth, and we will leave that one down to the stewards, of course. But a couple of incidents then in that one. And let's see if we have a few people that we could talk to at the end of that one. In fact, I would love to have talked to one of our race winners, but neither of them around. And in fact, it doesn't look like anyone near the front of the fields was in that one. Isaac Doble was near the front of the field in that. Of course, Isaac Doble taking home a podium. Let's see if we're able to pull Isaac in for a quick chat if he is there. Isaac, are you around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. So a fight throughout the duration of that race then. You fell down the order at the beginning, though. Were you worried that you were just going to get swallowed up?
Yeah, well, I was just taking it easy at the beginning with the track still damp, knowing that it will come close towards the end with the slipstream being as much as it is. So I was just biding my time out there and waiting for the time to pounce.
And it certainly came, because you were able to find your way through, and a couple of incidents in front of you meant that you were on that fight for second place. Did you think you, going towards the end of that race, you could move through, get your way up into second? It was, of course, you were holding on to it for a little while until you dropped back. It was a very close fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race with them two out there, very clean and fair. But I thought maybe going on to the last lap with the slipstream being as much as it is, I might have a chance, but I made a couple mistakes on that last lap and didn't quite have enough to overtake him there at the end.
It was a very close race indeed, and it was one that hopefully you can find yourself back onto the to the front again. You managed to do it in the final race at Brands Hatch. Do you think you can find that little bit of extra pace and get back there again today?
Oh, that'll be the plan, yeah. Try and get through the pack as much as I can in this next one and hopefully find myself on the podium again.
Excellent. Thank you so much for talking to us, Isaac, and good luck for the next two races.
Thank you.
A great race from Isaac then, and in fact we are going to be able to speak to Sam Spinell, who moved up into the pro class this week and has decided to show exactly why he's up in the pro class. A pole into a win, and what a dominant win that was.
Yeah, I mean, it probably looked a bit more dominant than it actually was. I think I was quite lucky to get the gap. And then after that, it was just trying to manage it, and everyone else behind was a bit fighting. So I'm sure the next ones it'll be a lot closer. Just hope I keep it clean.
I think you could argue that you were lucky. Yes, a few battles going on behind you, but you also did get in that fastest lap of the race. Yes, you had the clean air, but you didn't have any of the tows. So I would say that you were running a lot faster than those behind you. As you say, the next race, it's going to be working your way through the pack, top 15 reversed. It's going to be a little bit of work. Do you think you can get your way back through and fight for another podium?
Yeah, I think P1's going to be very, very difficult. Hopefully, top 3 should be good. It depends It depends how the race goes. If there's a safety car or if the top 3 are fighting, then everything's playable. But yeah, I think if it was a race like the first one, it'd be really hard to get into the top 3.
I think with that being said, if you are able to take a second win here today, it will be the first time that anyone has taken 2 victories in one weekend. So let's see if you're able to do that in your first week as a pro driver.
Do I get a second interview if I do?
I will pull you straight in if you do.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Good luck, Sam. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. So that was Sam Spinell, race 1 winner. We are going to prepare ourselves for race number 2. Once again, the results from race number 1. Spinell, Sharp and Doble winning the overall race and that pro field. McDougall, Fritsch and Thompson taking the top 3 in the Pro-Am field. We'll be back for the next race in just a moment's time, so don't go anywhere. We are back for the second race here around the Zandvoort circuit for round number 3 of the Next Gen Racing's Mazda MX5 Cup. We had a great race number 1, the overall race won by pro driver Spinell. We had a quick interview with him and with Isaac Doble at the end of the first race. As I was saying there in that interview, we are yet to see a driver take 2 overall victories in the same weekend. Delmont, the only driver to have more than 1 win so far this season. Will that change into the next one? The race results from race number 1, the top 15 are going to be reversed for this second race, which will once again be 8 laps long. And then the results of this second race we are going to see fully reversed for all the drivers who are no more than 1 lap down, and they will start from the front of the field for the final race, which will be a slightly longer one. It is a very tight race. We saw some drivers out on the wet compounder tyres still in that first race of the day. I believe that was just forgetting to move on to the dries. That was towards the back of the field, but they certainly did sort themselves out. We will see completely dry tyres for our drivers here today. That is for certain, because for this second race there is absolutely no chance of rain. It is going to be nice and sunny out there. In fact, it is much sunnier than what we saw in the first race. I see a lot of blue skies here in the Dutch air, and just by the coastline, of course, with the sand dunes that we race through. As drivers just putting in laps here in the warm-up session, we'll prepare to grid in just a moment's time. And once they are gridding up, that's when we can talk you through the entire field for the start of this one, because we just have to wait until that session loads in. That's how this one works. In fact, they are just gridding up now. So let's have a look at how this grid is going to begin. And Michael Clough is going to start this one from the front of the field. Alongside him, Ben Oucher. Mikey Doble will start from 3rd ahead of Adrian Fritsch, and it'll be Lee Horn in 5th and Phil McDougall in 6th position. We'll then see Tom Davidson in 7th ahead of Gavin Gardner. Adam Delmont will start in 9th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Andrew Pike in 11th ahead of Jamie Dorey. Then it will be the podium from race number 1. Isaac Doble, Kieran Sharp and Sam Spinell up to 15th. And then all the drivers as they were at the end of race number 1. Carl Thompson in 16th ahead of Matthew Cheverton and Nigel Stock. We then see William Kurtler ahead of Nick Clibbins, Alan McCain and Sam Smith. Andy Howardhouse will start in 23rd ahead of Leslie Brazil. Sammy Ariba will start in 25th ahead of Mark Sykes in 26th. 27th will be Matt Gatter ahead of Zara McGuinness. James Parfitt will start in 29th ahead of Craig Jones. Craig Twaddock will take 31st ahead of Mark Hughes, and Murray Adams at the back of the field after 2 bits of contact. Once we were reviewing it after the session, we just had a quick watch on the replay. That first instant, which I originally put blame onto Murray Adams, I'd actually take that blame off of Adams, and I think he was more holding his racing line in that one. But we do get ourselves down on then to the track, and this will be once again 8 laps of running for our drivers as they will prepare themselves for the second race. Race number 1, very tight, especially up front. Will we see the same here today? The lights are going to be coming up, and Michael Clough on the left-hand side of the circuit will be starting from pole. They are away and off of the line, and there is no jump start for this one as we head towards turn number 1. Are they going to remain in formation? Oucher looks up the inside of Clough as Mikey Doble looks going the outside. If Michael Doble wins here, he will be the second repeat winner of the season. A little bit of contact though, knocked him for a wobble with Adrian Fritsch, but he is now through and holds on to 3rd. Lee Horn goes up the inside of Fritsch as well, and he has to go in tight as Fritsch drops down the circuit. It's side by side behind, a little bit of contact with the number I think that was number 16 there getting involved a little bit, and he is going to have to settle himself down as that side by side once more for the lead. Clough and Oucher side by side, but Clough has got the inside line. Oucher cannot hold it on the outer line. We'll have to give up that position as Phil McDougall stuck on the outside line here. It will fall down the order. It continues to fight for the lead as Oucher has now got to the inside of Michael Clough. He's going to hold that line, and Ben Oucher takes the lead of the race ahead of Michael Clough, but he goes deep and through, goes Clough once more. It's going to swap over. Mikey Doble can see this from behind, will want to get through and pass these leading two drivers who are still side by side behind as Tom Davidson tries to get into this fight. That'll settles down single file, but not out front. Michael Clough is going to have the inside line over Oucher into the chicane, but we have seen the outside line work if they can hold it. Oucher breaks early though, gives Clough the position for now, looking for the speed on the exit, but Michael Clough pulls out to the chicane ahead in the lead, and the car sideways and into the barrier, but everyone facing the right way. No major incident. Isaac Doble moves up into 11th place. Adrian Fudge now down to 12th position. Sam Spinell trying to recover from the reverse grid. 15th place. He's up to 14th so far on that opening lap of the race. It's side by side for the lead once more. It's side by side behind for third once more. Clough is on the outside. Oucher is going to have the inside line here. Doble on the inside of Davidson behind. Oucher's got the lead of the race, and Oucher moves through into the lead here. Will Doble be able to do anything? He is still side by side with Tom Davidson. Will get the inside line, and here comes Lee Horn to attack Davidson. Horn on the wider, longer line here, but it will be the speed on the exit that plays in his benefit, and that is going to be Gavin Gardner following straight through as well. Tom Davidson drops down to 6th position. Isaac Doble on the rear end of Jamie Dory here. Adam Delmont sits in 8th place right now, and as wants to get up the order. He has won a race at both of the meetings so far. Normally he wins race number 1, not here though, as that is going to be Adam Delmont up the inside of Phil McDougall, up to 7th place in this race. McDougall now also behind Jamie Dory, side by side with Isaac Doble, as that is Delmont and Dory looking for a fight. Delmont going defensive as Dory looks towards the inside, and it's going to be on the exit that Dory is going to try and carry some speed here, and he is going to hold that outside line up towards the chicane. It is side by side between Delmont and Dory. They both break at about the same point. Dory is going to get the inside line as the chicane switches across, and Jamie Dory moves up to 7th. Adam Delmont moves down to 8th, and Sam Spinell, as that's the number 4 of Adam Wilson-Weir into the wall. Sam Spinell is up to 11th and gets past the Pro-Am race leader of McDougall and gets into 10th. If McDougall is to repeat his victory in race number 2 here, it's only the second time a Pro-Am driver will get a repeat win, as it was Twadok, the only other driver to get more than 1 win in the Pro-Am class so far this season. Purple laps going down the board here. Nigel Stock here, and that's a big dive behind from Twadok, who is looking to move up the order, and that's the 88 of Mikey Doble around. What has happened to Mikey Doble here? Up towards the first turn. Is it contact with Clough? It doesn't look like it is. It looks like Doble just went around on his lonesome there in that fight for the lead, but he's now once again on a recovery drive. Jamie Dory side by side here with Tom Davidson. Davidson's got the inside line. Dory is going to try and hold the speed on the outside. In fact, he does. Has he got enough of an overlap to get that position through? He does, and Adam Delmont now looking to get past Tom Davidson as well as they run side by side. Davidson, though, is going to get the inside line on Dory once more, as that is Isaac Doble trying to get involved into the fight now and gets to the inside of Delmont. It will switch over Dory and Delmont to the inside of the drivers on the outside of them, up towards the back end, and Jamie Dory holds on to 5th position. Tom Davidson and Adam Delmont remain side by side as we head up towards the chicane. It is going to be Davidson on the inside, Delmont on the outside. Davidson getting a little bit of a push there from Doble behind. Is it going to be contact? No, they remain clean, and it is going to go Delmont's way right now. Spinell behind, recovers to 8th position, gets past Isaac Doble. He said he was going to be hunting for another podium if he could get up there. Can he find his way to the very front of the field? Because it's actually only 3 seconds ahead of him, which is less than the gap he had in race number 1. Spinell behind Davidson here. A change for second as Lee Horn and Clough run side by side. Horn's on the outside line, Clough's on the inside line. Twadok, purple lap, last lap. It is the line for Clough, though. He is going to hold second, but it's going to be speed for Lee Horn on the exit. Gavin Gardner is just behind. We can see Delmont and Davidson battling behind as well. A little bit of a wobble from Michael Clough, and through goes Lee Horn. Delmont looking to confirm the move on Tom Davidson. Davidson looking to switch back on the exit here in the TCSR machine, and he pushes hard. Won't do anything with that one right now. Sam Spinell is just behind this battle. Will want to move through as well. To the left-hand side goes Tom Davidson. He tucks in behind. It's not going to be an outside move, but here comes Spinell to the inside of Tom Davidson. They remain clean, and Spinell's got that inside. Can he carry the speed here on the 54 machine? He stays to the inside line. He is going to push Davidson hard there, all the way to the edge of the circuit, and Davidson behind Doble now. Spinell up to 7th position in this race. Doble had a little bit of a wobble, looking to try and wade a way through. Davidson dives to the inside of Doble. It won't turn into anything, but Sam Spinell has recovered from 15th on the reverse to 7th right now. Battle for 3rd in class. Michael Clough leading Gavin Gardner. Ben Oucher has got a 2nd lead over Lee Horn right now. Spinell still holds about 3.5 seconds gap back. I am keeping an eye on that, because if he was able to move his way through, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Like I say, no driver has been able to go for a double win in the same weekend so far, or same evening so far, I should say. Up towards the timing line though, and Gardner currently pulling along teammate Jamie Dorey on towards the podium. Isaac Doble here is going to try and look up the inside of Spinell, and there's contact between, and there's a huge wreck at turn number 1. That has got to be major damage for Sam Spinell. That's definitely got to be broken suspension. That car crabbing there. That is a shame for the race 1 winner. Let's have another look at that one. Up towards turn number 1. And it's just a move to the, it just wasn't enough of a move from Doble. Doble looked to the inside, and it was just a collection there. Doble looked to the inside, but he didn't go far enough up the inside to really commit to that move. You can see the issues that Spinell has. The fact that he's got that car still facing the right way right now is a miracle. Gardner leading Dorey. Gravel, but it is a back marker off the circuit, so we haven't got to worry about that one. Ben Oucher now about 0.8 of a second ahead of Lee Horn, but Horn will be pushing to try and close that gap. James Parfitt gets up the inside of Leslie Brazil, makes that move. Brazil moves down into 2nd position. Mark Sykes just behind as well, looking to see what's going to happen here as Gardner and Dorey for a moment swap positions. They swap positions back again. Adam Delmont just behind here. Delmont wanting to take a victory again. He is leading the pro standings, of course. He goes onto the gravel though, and wider than Dorey through that penultimate turn up towards the final turn. Murray Adams started this race at the back of the field and is moved up the order. In fact, that's only showing the class movements. I would love to see overall movements, because that has been a great move from Murray Adams. He's gained over 20, well, he's gained 20 positions in this race, and a great recovery after his race 1 result. Pike gets to the inside of Cheverton and moves into 10th position. As a fight going on, Gardner holds on ahead of Delmont. I think there's been an attempted move there from Delmont. Let's see what has potentially transpired here. Has it been a move to the inside? It has from Delmont. And it's just a slide on the rear end. That low move is extremely hard. Isaac Doble gets past, was fighting, here with Murray Adams, as he's got Mikey Doble just in front of Murray Adams. So Adams currently in a Doble sandwich. Both drivers having to recover. Mikey Doble spinning himself early on in the race. Isaac Doble caught in that contact, of course, that has taken race 1 winner Sam Spinell out of the race. Doble looks to the inside of Adams, doesn't turn into anything, as Dorey and Gardner now have swapped positions for 3rd and 4th in this race, with Jamie Dorey now ahead in 3rd. Adam Delmont in 5th. He wants to do something. Let's not forget about Craig Twardock. He was doing well in race number 1 until some issues for him sent him down the order. He is now up to 6th position and will be wanting to try and get towards that top 5. He's 3 seconds off of that right now as we come up towards the penultimate lap of this second race. Gardner and Delmont running around together at the moment. Zara McGuinness, though, has just got past Andy Outhouse. I was about to say they were extremely close. And Outhouse just spinning, keeping it on that outer line. Driver's getting to the inside, and he makes the wise decision to go backwards instead of forwards to stay out of everyone's way. As Pike gets past Stock, here comes Cheverton to get past Stock as well. Stock is second in the Pro-Am class. Phil McDougall, taking the win in the Pro-Am class in race number 1, is on task to take it here as Spinale has had some more issues, unfortunately for him. He has gone off again, has some sort of issue again. Oh no, he hasn't. It's just a quick blip on the screen. It's come up as a crash. It wasn't. Craig Targot holding on to 6th. Right now, however, Gavin Gardner still behind Jamie Dory. Are we going to see the teammates fighting out here? Of course, there's no teams championship in the MX5 this season. It is all just driver championships. But you will see them. A lot of the team liveries, a lot of similar teams heading out around there. A number of different next-gen teams, of course. But there's no actual teams championship. So these drivers are free to race as they please. And will probably do so. We've got Delmont just behind Gardner as well. Delmont, if he can get past Gardner and Dory, he will get onto the podium here. It will be great for his championship standings up on the podium, as that is Doble. Isaac Doble around again after contact at turn number 1 with Spinale. He goes around and it is all on his lonesome. He loses the car early doors into the corner and he just gets it loose all the way through. Can't keep it facing the right way. As Gardner now, will he push Dory or will he go for the overtake? We're on to the pit straight. Right now he's behind and here comes Adam Delmont, and Dory goes to the right, onto the white flag lap. It is 3 wide for the podium. Delmont breaks the latest and takes 3rd. Dory on the inside of Gardner will take 4th. Gardner will drop down to 5th. But Adam Delmont came from 5th to 3rd in that move. Dory, though, is not going to let that stick. In fact, he's going to say, no thank you, Adam. You're not taking that position. If I just give you a little nudge here, you'll be facing the wrong way. And that is certainly what happened there. As Adam Delmont falls down the order, Jamie Dory knows what he did was not a good thing to do. He knew it wasn't intentional, but he is going to let Adam Delmont back through. Jamie Dory, Adam Delmont 10th and 9th position as Mikey Doble battling with Cheverton here. Mikey looking to get to the inside of Cheverton. He sticks it there, but it's not going to be enough to take that position. That has adapted the top 5 order, of course. Now Gardner holding on to the podium. Twardock now up to 4th. Andrew Pike is 5th in class, but will take home the points for 6th. Phil McDougall will take the win in Pro-Ams if it finishes this way. This is Ben Oucher. That's Lee Horn behind as we come towards the end of the lap. Will Mikey Doble be able to do anything here to get up the inside of Matthew Cheverton? They're side by side under braking. It will switch back across to Cheverton having the inside, of course. Doble just going to have to allow Cheverton to have that. We'll be going for the speed at the end. But Ben Outria is going to come across the line to win race number 2 of the day. And that is Outria's first win of the season. Lee Horn will take 2nd and Gavin Gardner in 3rd. And Phil McDougall will be only the 2nd driver in the Pro-Am class to repeat that result of a victory. And across the line, drivers side by side for multiple positions. Delmont takes Dory by 0.012 seconds. Cheverton took Doble by 0.047 seconds. More drivers come across the line in a side-by-side fight as Tom Davidson takes Alan McCain. Is a position needed there for Davidson in the pros, and he takes home 16th in the race as the checkered flag falls for our drivers. It has not gone the way that some would have hoped. But for Ben Outra, it has gone a way better than expected. As he gets a little bit of a kiss from Lee Horn, Ben Outra is the race winner in race number 2. For the 8th race this season, he comes home to take the win. And he is the 7th different winner in 8 races. Ben Outra wins the Pro and the Oval race. Phil McDougall goes back-to-back here in the first 2 races of the day. We have had back-to-back wins. That was from Twadok back at Monza in race 2 and 3 in the Pro-Am class. However, here it is the first time it's back-to-back in race 1 and 2. McDougall is on with a chance of taking 3 for 3 here, but it is going to be a full reverse grid, which means that McDougall will find his way all the way at the back of the field for the final race of the day. Right. That's the race results. Let's get a look at them all up on the screen for you. It was Ben Outra taking the win, a second clear of Lee Horn, and Gavin Gardiner took home the final podium place after contact between Adam Delmont and Jamie Dorey. Craig Twadok took home 4th in that one, a nice recovery after the issues that he had in race 1. And Phil McDougall took home 5th overall and the win in the Pro-Am class. Andrew Pike took home 6th ahead of Matthew Cheverton, just clear of Mikey Doble. Nigel Stock took home 2nd in class ahead of Adam Delmont. As I get onto the right button. Jamie Dorey took home 11th overall ahead of Murray Adams, who recovered from 33rd on the grid. He came home 12th, a great recovery for him. Isaac Doble, couple of issues for him in that race, coming home in 13th. Mark Sykes took the final podium place in the Pro-Am field, Sam Smith behind. Tom Davidson took home 16th, then it was Alan McCain, our Pro-Am Championship leader heading into this weekend. Don't think it will be that way anymore at the end of this one, with McDougall having some great starts to this weekend. Matt Gatter came home in 18th ahead of Sammy Iriba and Leslie Brazil in 20th place. 21st place was James Parfitt, ahead of Zara McGuinness, and Andy Outhouse took home 23rd. Kieran Sharp came home 24th, and after that contact with Isaac Doble, Sam Spinell, our race 1 winner, finished down in 25th position. It will give him a good starting place for the final race of the day, though. Spinell still could be a driver who could take a double win for the first time in a single weekend in the overall race. Adrian Fritsch came home 26th place ahead of Nick Clibbins and Michael Clough. William Kirtley came home 29th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. 31st position was Carl Thompson ahead of Mark Hughes and Craig Jones. Right, let's see if anyone wants, if anyone wants to talk to me. If I want to talk to anyone, let's see who's available to chat with and who was coming at the top there. And actually, we've talked to him already this season, and it wasn't quite enough to get here to a front. However, Ben Outra, you finally found your way to the front of the field, and it's victory here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good race. I enjoyed that a lot. Much better than race 1. My cards just fell in the right places, I think. So yeah, it went well.
I say you've been there close a couple of times, thinking to Brands Hatch where the weather just wasn't quite going your way. However, no weather to worry about in this race, and with the fighting going on behind, the race leaders at the moment have just had an opportunity to find that clean air and pull away. Was it as easy as it looked for you? I mean, it looked like you were just driving nice and cleanly out there, but I'm sure the focus was real.
No, I was just sort of focused on my lines. I was watching the gap behind. I could see the guys behind were fighting, and eventually Lee managed to break through and he was slowly closing every now and again. He was gaining a 10th on me or so, and I was just watching that gap, and then I just managed to find that last little bit of pace and pulled away from him. He must have made a mistake or something, but I opened the gap again, and I was nice and comfortable for the last couple of laps. But I think into turn 1, if Mikey hadn't have been turned around if he hadn't have spun. That would have been a far more interesting race because Mikey's good to race against and he's pretty quick. So
Indeed, he went around in that early point in the race. But with the win, it means for the final race of the day, you're going to be starting all the way down at the back. How are you feeling about that?
not so impressed. Being at the background here, it can be difficult to make passes. It's tough. It's tough to find places you can get by, especially with how close everyone is on lap time.
Well, good luck for the third and final race, Ben, and well done on your first victory of the season.
Thank you very much, mate.
That was Ben Oucher, the winner from the overall race and the pros in that one. Phil McDougall again winning in the Pro-Ams. We will be back in a moment's time for the third and final race of the day. Ben Oucher, Lee Horn and Gavin Gardiner, your podium in the pros and overall race. Phil McDougall, Nigel Stock and Mark Sykes, your podium in the Pro-Ams. We'll be back in a moment's time for the final race of the day, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the third and final race of the day here for the NXTGEN Racing Mazda MX5 Cup from Zandvoort, the third round of 8. We have had 2 fantastic races so far. Spinell winning the first one of the day, Ultra taking the win in race number 2 with a top 15 reverse. We are going for a full reverse for this final race of the day, which means that drivers are going to be needing to be calm and sensible. I think it's time for commentators' curse, do you not? I don't think I've done one yet so far this evening. So, around number 1, we saw the safety car coming out in all 3 of the races. The final race was so crash heavy at the start. We actually saw a red flag. It is a rare occasion in NXTGEN history in order to see the red flag come out. But we did see that red flag. It was a step better at Brands Hatch. No safety cars in either of the first 2 races. However, the safety car did see the track in race number 3. Could we go a step better here? Can we go without the safety car in all 3 races? With a reverse grid, anything can happen. Of course, drivers wanting to move through the field and take all the positions they can, especially as we'll see a lot of Pro-Am drivers towards the front of the field. Now, they don't need overall position. They take their points from class position. Our Pro drivers, who will be starting towards the rear end of the field, well, they take their points from the overall position, and therefore, they do need to find their way through the field. The sun is starting to set here, but as we have a quick look, you can see it is not going to be raining once again in the last race. Just a little bit cloudy for this one. And as we have that sorted, let's get our grid then. For the final race of the day. Craig Jones is going to be starting this one from pole position ahead of Mark Hughes. Carl Thompson will be starting on 3rd ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. William Kurtler will be on 5th, and Michael Clough from 6th. Michael Clough starting race number 1 on pole, race number 2, sorry, on pole, of course. Nick Clibbens will start this one in 7th. Clibbens has taken a win so far in the season. He took it at race number 2 at Brands Hatch. Adrian Fritsch will start in 8th ahead of Sam Spinell. Spinell in a great opportunity to be the first driver in the season to take 2 wins in a single evening. Kieran Sharp will start this one in 10th ahead of Andy Outhouse and Zara McGuinness. James Parfitt will start from 13th ahead of Leslie Brazil, Matt Gatter in 15th and Alan McCain in 16th. Tom Davidson will start with this one in 17th ahead of Sam Smith. Then we'll see Mark Sykes. He will be starting in 19th ahead of Isaac Doble. Murray Adams in 21st ahead of Jamie Dory. Adam Damon will start in 23rd ahead of Nigel Stock. 25th will be Mikey Doble ahead of Matthew Cheverton, Andrew Pike, and then Phil McDougall. Craig Twardock will start in 29th ahead of Gavin Gardner. At the back of the field will be Lee Horn and Ben Outria. Drivers then are preparing to get themselves underway with Craig Jones on pole position. In that Pro-Am field is Adam Wilson-Weir, the highest pro driver. He is starting this one in 4th. It is going to be a 12-lapped race. This 3rd and final race of the day, the longest race of the day. With the reverse grid, it is needed as drivers will be needing to take just a little bit extra time to find their way through the field. But I'm sure that we will see a few incidents as that happens. The lights are up for the 12 laps of racing here, and for the 3rd and final time at Zandvoort, we are green and we are away up towards turn number 1. A lot of smoke in the air, but no issues off of the line. Now into turn number 1. How are drivers going to behave as they try to find their way through, as this is Sam Spinell straight away to the inside of Adrian Fritsch and makes that move. Cars around in the background, a number of pro drivers involved in that one, including Lee Horn and Cheverton. Twardock in that one as well. Not the way they wanted to start this race to go, but towards the front of the field It has remained relatively clear. Adam Wilson-Weir from 4th on the grid has made his way up to 2nd, and here comes Michael Clough to get his way into 3rd, past Mark Hughes. Hughes stuck on the inside though, and will try to keep that 3rd position overall. Side by side behind as well is Sam Spinale. Spinale is up to 5th position here, has put himself in a perfect opportunity to try and find his way to the front of the field for the 2nd time this evening. It'll be the first time that anyone in the Pro Series has been able to do that, in the Pro Class, sorry, has been able to do that. Spinale gets up the inside of Hughes. Craig Jones leads the way, but here comes Wilson-Weir. They're side by side. Wilson-Weir is to the inside of Craig Jones. Jones falls down to 2nd, and here comes Michael Clough right now. And that is Mark Hughes behind in the white machine with the Martini livery. Sam Spinale to the right-hand side. Spinale looking to get into 4th right now, as this is Craig Jones in 3rd position. Has got Spinale directly behind him. It is Mark Hughes on that alternate 9, and Spinale forces Hughes to go deep and gets the speed on the exit. Sam Spinale up to 4th position here behind Craig Jones, who is leading the Pro-Am field at this stage. Wilson-Weir leads the overall race in the Pro Class ahead of Michael Clough. Craig Jones is 3rd overall, leading that Pro-Am field. Mark Hughes going defensive on Nick Clibbins. Clibbins has taken a win so far this season. He took race number 2 at Brands Hatch in the wet with those changeable conditions. Up towards turn number 1 though, and it's going to be Sharp and Spinale who are fighting out for 4th at the moment. Sharp's going to have to hold on to 5th, as Spinale is going to hold on to 4th position and has had a great start on the opening lap of this race, as that is wobbles as we're under safety car. We are under safety car for this one. There was a huge incident towards the back of the field on that opening lap. We saw it happen, and I think that we just didn't quite catch the severity of it. That looks like it may have been the problem. It looks like there was that was actually not even the starting accident we saw. That was further around the lap that accident has happened. Let's see if we can get another look at that and see how that has occurred. So Zara McGuinness, Andy Outhouse, James Parfitt all involved in this one, as it is Andy Outhouse at the front. Outhouse spins it all by himself, and I mean, Zara McGuinness goes off the circuit to avoid, but James Parfitt seems to drive straight into that one. Let's see what it is from his view. It could have just appeared. There's the spin ahead, but we've got to remember we're driving a lot higher. There's smoke, and there's the car. Yeah, that's a hard one to avoid for James Parfitt there. So collecting that. So that was the second incident. Where is the first incident? Looks like Jamie Joy has had an incident. This is still not through that first accident. I still haven't scrolled back far enough in this one. As it's on the exit, huge crash that we just didn't see. That's the 37 of Adam Delmont involved in that one as well, actually. And then this is a bit of turn 1. We've just caught. Oh, that looks like a much bigger accident than we originally thought. Right, up towards turn number 1 though, as we finally found our way far enough into the back of this replay to find the incident down at turn number 1. This is Twadok. And it's all happened in front of him, and it's just collection. He's tried to go to the outside, and it's just not played out for him, unfortunately. It's this is the issue with reverse grids. It's a lot of drivers going to a lot of space, and the faster drivers towards the back. You can see Oucher already backing out of that a little bit at the back. You can see the smoke, and Oucher still backing out of it. Still gets a bit of front end damage on that one, but not going around. So there we go. As we continue to run around at the moment, it is safety car leading the way at the very front of the field. We look back at Adam Wilson-Weir, who leads the overall race. Started 4th in this one. As I take a quick drink as we have a momentary pause in this race. I'm sure the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, though. It would have been out for 2 laps, and that's how long it normally is around these circuits. He is now at the back of the field, and look, we can see him on our little standings on the left-hand side there. In fact, past Tom Davidson, who was out of this race early doors. Sam Spinale has had a great start to this race. Now, Spinale, he won race number 1. If he could win this third race. It'll be the first time that anyone has won the overall race twice in the same evening. It'll also be only the second driver to win the overall race twice. Adam Delmont being the other driver who did it at race number 1 at Monza and race number 1 at Brands Hatch. As that is the safety car pulling away here, and it will be Adam Wilson-Weir leading this field away. Looking at the Pro-Am field right now, of course, McDougall, who won both of the opening races of the Pro-Ams, he's 25th position right now overall, and that will put him 10th in class. It is going to be Adam Wilson-Weir leading the way. He is the one in control of this pace. No overtaking until the timing line. He is still weaving, and away he goes. Adam Wilson-Weir away from the front of the field ahead of Michael Croft. Craig Jones in third position. Sam Spinell behind him fourth. Spinell already going for the overtake, and here comes Kieran Sharp to the inside of Craig Jones. Just trying to squeeze his way up the inside there. They're side by side, Sharp and Jones. Jones leaving this Pro-Am field, but Mark Hughes, another Pro-Am driver just behind in that Martini machine. It is going to be on the inside, and there's contact. I don't know, for Mark Hughes there, went straight to the inside of Craig Jones, knocks it inside. It's a hard line to take, but Craig Jones there, out of the race, spun around. And a lot of positions lost as Sam Spinell has got past Michael Clough. Spinell is on with an opportunity here. He said, if I win again, can I have another interview? He must really want another interview. It must be because he loves talking to me so much, not because he wants to win this race. Kieran Sharp looks up the inside of Michael Clough. Can't quite make that one work at the moment. But Wilson-Weir leads the way out of Spinell. Clough doing his best to hold on to this position here. He had a good starting position in race number 2, wasn't able to take advantage of it. Can he take advantage on the starting position here in race number 3? But Kieran Sharp is all over his rear, doesn't go for anything at the moment, and will remain in third position. Spinell still behind Wilson-Weir as well. As this is Isaac Doble, side by side with Pike, has invited Jamie Dorey to go side by side on the exit, however. As we now come up through the final 2 turns, Isaac Doble holds ahead of Jamie Dorey and holds on to 13th place at the moment. Once again, Sharp trying to get past Clough, and it is going to be towards the inside, up towards turn number 1. It is going to be side by side between Clough and Sharp. Sharp on that inside line. Spinell going purple last lap. Sharp trying to hold this position on the inside of the 22 machine. And through comes Nick Clibbins as well. Clibbins trying to follow Sharp through, but it's Clibbins and Clough now side by side. Clough is going to be stuck on the lower line through the banked corner. Clibbins is going to get the fast speed. In fact, he is trying to squeeze Clough down as low as he can. And Clibbins moves up to 4th. Clough down to 4th position down to 5th position right now, and off the circuit is Murray Adams. He finds his way back on, however, he is falling down the order, and a lot of drives ahead going for position as Mikey Doble now looks up the inside of Adrian Fish. Doble going for overall position. He needs it for his points. He's got 2 Pro-Am drivers, the 2 teammates of Hughes and Thompson just up ahead. Doble look to the inside of Thompson here. Can he make that move for 7th place overall? He's certainly trying for it. They're side by side right now. Doble's going to be stuck on the outer line, going for the very wide line there. Andrew Pike could have possibly tucked up the inside, but that is Isaac Doble going up the inside of Andrew Pike now. It's the 2 Dobles, Mikey and Isaac, working together here, trying to find their way up the order, but Pike and Isaac Doble still side by side. It's Pike on the inside, Isaac on the outside. Isaac backs out of that one. No, he doesn't. He keeps a wheel in. He brakes a little bit earlier to get himself slowed down for the chicane. And Isaac Doble comes up ahead of Pike, and that's a slide, some contact, but all cars facing the right way behind. I think Delmont and Poirot were possibly involved in that. It looks like McCain, and that was race 2 winner Ben Ouchers from bumper that we saw around. Spinell looks to the lead of the race up towards turn number 1. It's side by side with Wilson-Weir. but Sam Spinale takes the lead. Kieran Sharp looks to the inside of Wilson Weir. There's a slight nudge. Wilson Weir wobbles, and Sharp is now side by side as we're approaching the halfway point on this race. Sam Spinale leads and could go for the double here. Sharp on the outside line, trying an alternate line to Wilson Weir. They have given Sam Spinale about a second advantage at the front of the field right now as they scrap it out for second. Nick Clibbins not too far behind. Mikey Doble gets up and past Mark Hughes for sixth place. He needs to find 3 seconds though if he wants to catch up to Michael Clough. Isaac Doble also wanting to dispatch the Pro-Am driver. Murray Adams looks up the inside of Carl Thompson, gets that. Jamie Dorey looking to follow through as well. Carl Thompson second in the Pro-Am field at the moment. As that's Andrew Pike looking to the inside of Jamie Dorey as it is 3 wide with the Pro-Am on the outside, and that is going to be Adam Delmont trying to get involved. But Andrew Pike gets through, does a double overtake there. What a move. Jamie Dorey still side by side with Carl Thompson. So Pike saw what was happening, just thought, I'm not getting involved in this. Move straight through past it. Jamie Dorey and Carl Thompson side by side here. It is Adam Delmont, though, who is looking now to get past Carl Thompson, and Delmont does do that. Twadok also trying to dispatch Thompson, but Thompson's got that inside line this time around, so won't be able to do anything with it right now. It's the two Doble brothers together in 6th and 7th. Will they work together to close what is almost a 4-second gap up to Michael Clough? Michael Clough in 5th position. Up towards the front though, it is Kieran Sharp now looking to make the move on Adam Wilson Weir. Wilson Weir to the inside, Sharp to the outside. Clibben gets to purple, getting the toe from these two drivers ahead and all the way around the outside. Kieran Sharp moves into 2nd position. Sharp without a win in this series yet, but he is sitting 2nd in the championship. He will be wanting to take the overall win here over Sam Spinale if he is able to. Spinale finding a huge amount of points in the first race, looking for another huge amount of points in the second race. Mark Hughes goes to the inside, looks like he's got some issues, as that was Ben Ouchier, part of the drivers that are around. Alan McCain, Pro-Am leader heading into this one, who has gone into the wall. Major damage for him, and he will need to find his way to pit lane. Andrew Pike, Murray Adams, side by side here in the fight for 8th position. Adams on the outside, Pike on the inside line. Pike's got it at the moment. In fact, here comes Jamie Dorey to get up the inside of Murray Adams as well. There's a little bit of a nudge, but Jamie Dorey is going to take that position, and Murray Adams is now going to be under attack from Adam Delmont on the outside line, trying to carry more speed on that wider line. It looks like it could potentially work out here. The gap between Spinale and Sharp, just a few tenths per second. We're over halfway through the race now. We've had one safety car visit in this race. It looks like we're not going to get another at this stage, which will be brilliant. So we can just have some pure flat-out racing. This is Murray Adams leading Adam Delmont. Delmont winning at Monza, winning at Brands Hatch, will not win here at Zandvoort. Where is the best he's able to go? He is leading that championship at the moment, of course. Nick Clibbins now looking to dispatch on Adam Wilson Weir, as Sharp going for an alternate line up at the front as well on Spinale. It is a 4-car fight for the lead of the race, and Clibbins looking to put his nose in on the outside of Wilson Weir. Just get a slightly different line from Wilson Weir, and it looks like he's done that. Clibbins looking to the inside, but that wider line running a lot more speed. In fact, Clibbins pushing out a bit too much, getting the grass, losing time. Back up towards the front then. It's 0.2 of a second between Spinale and Sharp at the moment. It's Delmont and Adams side by side, but it is going to be Adam Delmont through and past Murray Adams for 10th position in their fight right now. Andrew Pike is still chasing down the Doble brothers. Jamie Dorey at the back of this train as well. This is the battle that goes to 6th position. Leslie Brazil looking for 5th in class right now up the inside of, around the outside, sorry, of Nigel Stock. No, it is up the inside of Nigel Stock. Stock stuck on the outer line. But Brazil having to slow down, potentially feeling like he forced Stock off the road there. Once again, a fight for the lead. Sharp's got the overlap, but it is going to be the inside line for Spinell. Spinell runs extremely deep, stopping Sharp from going anywhere. Shark is unsettled by that, and here comes Wilson Weir to take advantage of the unsettled move from Sharp. Sharp holds on to second for now, though. Spinell just finding a couple of tenths as they go into 4 laps to go in this race. Sam Spinell going for the double. He won race number 1. Contact sent him down and out in race 2. The reverse grid has put him in a perfect position here for race 3. Wilson Weir goes to the outside of Sharp, moves back to second. Spinell goes defensive. Wilson Weir on the wider line here. Sharp side by side on the inside, following Spinell through. That inside line working out, but speed for Wilson Weir on the exit. Even if he slings it around the outside here, the inside line into the next corner is an extremely hard one to hold, and he has to back out of that one. In fact, he goes a little bit slow, trying to avoid contact, and Clibbins trying to avoid Wilson Weir. There was no contact there, but Clibbins around and out of the race. Clibbins down and out of the podium. That will promote Clough back to 4th position, and Doble, the Doble brothers, into 5th and 6th, with Isaac leading Mikey. What that also means is Wilson Weir has backed out of this fight a little bit, which is between Spinell and Sharp. Sharp really going for the move in the lead of this one. Looks to the inside of Spinell now. They're going to be side by side, but it is going to be a smoother run for Spinell on the outside line. It will turn to the inside, but he does have the whole run of the track if he wants it. Sharp going for the speed on the outside here. Is Spinell going to give him a room just a little bit? Where are they going to go? If Spinell can move to the inside and get enough over to that lap, if Shark gets to the inside and get enough overlap, he could do what Spinell did last lap. There's not enough overlap, but he is still trying to do it, and he has forced Spinell off. There's contact. Sharp off the circuit there. Spinell is down to second, and Wilson Weir is into the lead. I would argue that yes, Spinell was forced off the circuit there. However, his rejoin was not the way you should have rejoined that circuit there. Contact that was not needed. Let's see if we can find a quick replay as these drivers settle themselves down once more. That contact with Sharp, I don't think was needed. Sharp down to 15th in this race. Sharp goes deep. He goes very deep. There is contact. Spinell's off, but he should have backed out of it. And you can see he even lifts off of the brakes and goes into Sharp. I would argue that was avoidable contact for Spinell. Again, I am just the commentator, not the steward, but that could be penalty points coming Spinell's way at the end of this one. Jamie Dorey is fighting with the Dobles. It is fighting with Mikey Doble. There's a little bit of a wobble after some contact, just a touch on the bottom of Mikey Doble. Gets him a little bit unsettled, but he holds on to 5th. Jamie Dorey behind now. Andrew Pike and Adam Delmont in this train of fight cars as well, as Murray Adams and Craig Twardock are fighting out for 9th position. Spinell half a second off of Adam Wilson Weir. This is Adams around the outside, under attack from Twardock. Twardock gets it with a little bit of a nudge there, as Dorey and Pike are also fighting up ahead. Adams once again to the inside of Twardock. Adams will hold on, and Dorey will hold on to Pike as well. Pike could come under attack from Adam Dalmon onto the braking zone here. As that is going to be contact with Pike. Pike's off the circuit ever so slightly. He keeps it on track though. Therefore, Delmont has to do an avoiding move. A little bit of a wobble there from Jamie Dorey, and Adam Delmont gets on the inside. Andrew Pike down to 8th place. Mikey Doble looks to the inside of Isaac Doble here. They trade places in 4th place as we go on to the 11th lap of asking. 2 more laps to go. Adam Wilson Weir leads the way. Sam Spinell in 2nd. Michael Clough in 3rd. As the Dobles are fighting, so is Delmont, Pike and Dorey behind. It is going to be Mikey Doble on the outside of Isaac Doble, and Isaac gets through up to 4th place, and Mikey down to 5th right now. Pike regains that place, and Adam Delmont, they're side by side. Delmont on the outside line. Again, it will turn to the inside line, but the inside line is a tricky one to hold because you can just carry so much speed on the wider line. But Delmont running a perfect line there to carry as much speed as possible, and he just wasn't able to keep enough of a wheel in. This is Spinell, he has closed the gap back to Wilson Weir. It's just a couple of tenths of a second right now. He could take the win. Like I say though, it's only a provisional race win. If he does win, could potentially have something for that contact, but I won't say any more about it being here in the commentary booth. This is the fight for the lead. Andrew Pike now looks to the inside of Jamie Dory once more. They are side by side. This is the fight for 6th place that is ongoing at the moment. You can see that the majority of the pro drivers have found their way back towards the front of the field. Andrew Pike though will have to stay behind Jamie Dory once more, but has got a wheel in here. It's an overtake attempt here from Spinell on the outside. Is he going to keep it on the circuit? Just about. A little bit of gravel in the air, but Sam Spinell moves back into the race win. If we do pull him back into the commentary booth, it'll be interesting to hear his take on the instant, but Murray Adams here is into the wall with Gavin Gardner into the wall on the exit, that one as well. Multiple cars around. That's going to be a shake-up towards the front there. Looks like Craig Twardock was involved in that in one of those instances as well, so a lot of cars getting involved. Here comes Adam Wilson-Weir though in a return onto the final lap of the race to fight for the lead. Sam Spinell holds the inside line, places it in a place that means Wilson Weir can't get the cut across and cut back for the lead. Wilson Weir chasing down behind at the moment though. We ride on board with the number 4 machine. He started 4th in this race with just Pro-Am drivers in front of him. Spinell got ahead, fell back down the order after contact with Kieran Sharp, and is once again overtaken by Spinell. Can Wilson Weir do anything here? Michael Clough only a few tenths per second back along with the 2 Dobles. Andrew Pike is ahead of Jamie Dory in that fight right now as Lee Horn and Matthew Cheverton swap positions. We continue to watch the fight for the lead here. 3 tenths per second. Spinell's got the overlap at the moment. It's all going to be about how can Wilson Weir get the slipstream at the back end of this lap here, and can he get himself alongside and ahead across the line as we come up towards the final the chicane for the final time. It is 3-4 tenths per second. Spinell has had a good exit. Who is going to get the better run through the chicane this time? Spinell did get onto the gravel last time in his overtake past Wilson Weir. It's a slide on the rear end. You saw the tie marks there. Who is going to get the better exit? Looking at the intervals, Wilson Weir's got more speed on the exit here. We come towards the final 2 turns. Wilson Weir chasing down Sam Spinell into the final turn. It's 4 tenths per second. It's going to be too much to overcome. Sam Spinell, for the first time this season, is going to be a double race winner in the first round of asking as a pro driver. Clough just takes Isaac Doble behind. Dalmont, Jamie Dory and Andrew Pike separated by less than a tenth of a second as Cheverton beats Lee Horn by an even smaller margin. As across the line in the Pro-Ams, Mark Hughes wins the Pro-Ams out of Carl Thompson and Mark Sykes getting another podium in this one. Nigel Stott takes 4th in class. So the rest of the field come round. Sam Spinell is, for the second time this evening, race winner. He is only the second man to win the overall race twice. He is the first man to do it in the same evening. Sam Spinell wins once more here at Zandvoort in the pro field ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir and Michael Clough. It was Mark Hughes who won the Pro-Am field for the first time for him, as he is now so after McDougall winning the first 2 in the Pro-Am field, Hughes wins this one in the final one in the Pro-Am field. But it was 2 wins going Spinell's way here at Zandvoort, and for the first time in the overall and the pro race winners, a driver has taken victory in 2 races in the same evening. Right, let's have a look then at our full race results at the end of the third race here at Zandvoort. Sam Spinell wins for a second time this evening ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Michael Clough took home third ahead of the Doble brothers in fourth and fifth position, Isaac and Mikey respectively. Andrew Pike took home sixth ahead of Jamie Dorey. Adam Delmont finished in 8th position in that one after winning in both of race ones in the previous 2 weekends. The Pro Championship leader going into this weekend just couldn't quite find the pace in this final race, few races so far. Matthew Cheverton took home 9th ahead of Lee Horn. In 11th was Kieran Sharp ahead of Ben Oucher, our race 2 winner. Got involved in that first lap accident in Oucher, but has recovered, obviously, from 32nd on the grid to be able to move into 12th. Mark Hughes, Carl Thompson and Mark Sykes the podium in the Pro-Am field ahead of Gavin Gardner, followed by Nigel Stott, Craig Twardock, Leslie Brazil and Murray Adams in the overall top 20. We then saw Phil McDougall and James Parfitt behind, Adrian Fritsch in 23rd ahead of Zara McGuinness, William Kurtler in 25th position ahead of Matt Gatter. Nick Clibbons down in 27th ahead of Alan McCain. Down 2 laps, Andy Outhouse. And out of the race, we saw Craig Jones, Sam Smith, and Tom Davidson. Tom Davidson going out on the opening lap of... Tom Davidson not actually starting that final race, I believe. No, he did. He did. We went out right at the start of the race following that accident. Right then, let's see if we do have an opportunity to talk with Sam Spinell again. He was really eager about coming into the broadcast booth. He might not be so eager now that I was interested in that accident, of course, that occurred. In fact, let's see if we're able to find that accident once more that occurred in the fight for the race lead that I think has been one of the more controversial moves in the league so far. I'm trying to find where it happened. Of course, it happened a little bit later on into the race, so I'm just trying to find in my... can I get rid of the overtakes? That will help. Right, let's see. Where did we see that accident in that... where did we see that accident? What lap was it on? It is not there anymore. It was showing before, and now it is not showing anymore. Where is Kieran Sharp's name in all of this? Because, of course, it happened after the restart. There it is. In fact, I was already clicked on it. Right, let's have a look here once again at this overtake. What happened here? This is the fight for the leader course. That's Sharp up the inside. He does go deep. It is for a moment, just for a moment, that Spinell gets off of the throttle. We're riding on board with Spinell right now. Sharp's going to get up the inside. That sounds like there's a little bit of power actually on that one. We're going to ride that one again. We are going to watch Sam Spinell here on the outside, Kieran Sharp to the inside. There is definite power on Spinell's car. There's power there on Sharp's car as well, but there is power on that machine. Let's see if we can get an onboard here. So this is onboard Kieran Sharp. He does go in deep, admittedly. He goes in deep, but Spinell has backed out of that. And there's just nowhere really for Sharp to go in that accident. He does get himself back on. He does it safely. He has to wait for the fields to go through. And there he goes. He waits for the opening. He waits for the opportunity and gets back going again. But, yeah. Decide how you will on that one. Whatever your thoughts may be, that will definitely be investigated after the race by the stewards. That is no doubt. So Sam Spinell taking the 2 wins. What is going to be decided from that one? Because if you look the lap before, Spinell makes the exact same move. Spinell makes the exact same move the previous lap, and Sharp backed out of it. I think Spinell wanted to hold it there, but he had no more racing room. Sharp stayed on the circuit, Spinell did not, and then Well, however that rejoin, however you may take it, it's an interesting one nonetheless at the end of that one. And like I said, I'd have loved to catch Sam Spinale in that one to have a word with. It doesn't look like we'll be able to get a word with him. But however, we may have an opportunity to have a quick word with Adam Wilson-Weir here. Took home second in that race. Adam, are you here?
I'm here, yes, indeed.
Perfect, Adam. I mean, you were involved in that fight for the lead. I think, first of all, let's go for that last lap. You were, well, the last couple of laps, you were really pushing to get back past Spinell. Did you think you could have him?
I did, because I thought if I got close enough, because I noticed the lap on the white flag lap when I was behind, I got a really good toe. So I was thinking, well, maybe I keep him in front until we get round the last corner again on the checkered, and hopefully I have him. But unfortunately, I just didn't have enough legs on me. So
I'm going to say, it certainly looked like you may have had an opportunity, as you say, going on to the final lap. You were able to get side by side up to the line. I think it's going to be a miss of me if I didn't throw us back a few laps. You saw directly ahead of you, of course, the contact between Spinale and Sharp. Just from your driver's viewpoint there, what are you thinking about that one?
it was kind of like, oh, happy days, less work for me. But I think there wasn't just enough damage on the lead car. Can't remember his name, forgive me. But I was hoping maybe he would have some wheel damage or something from that to give me a let me break the toe. But he's too quick. He always has been quick this whole season. So.
He certainly has been promoted up to pros here, of course. But, yeah, I mean, a great result from you then. So started in fourth in this one, moved up. Could have quite taken that victory. Wasn't there. Do you think after this one, you're feeling confident you might be able to find a victory before the end of the season?
I mean, we'll keep battling away. It's certain tracks suit me, some don't. I mean, I love Zandvoort. That's one of the good ones for me. For example, Brands Hatch was a complete washout. I mean, I hate the track, so it just depends on the track, really, I think.
Excellent running, though, here at Zandvoort, and good luck for future races, and hopefully we'll see you back up there towards the front, and not just because of a reverse grid in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having a chat.
Thank you, Adam. That was Adam there. Finished second in that race, fighting with Sam Spinale to the line as that one comes to an end. So round number 3 here in the NXTGEN Racing Mazda MX5 Cup comes to a close as the sun starts to set, in fact, here. We will be back, of course, next week, and we head all the way over to America for round number 4 as we head across to the Long Beach Street Circuit. It is our one and only street circuit in the season. It is the tightest circuit of them all. How is it going to go, especially with a full reverse grid in race number 3? If you are watching here over on Facebook, make sure that you have hit that like button and you have shared the video with your friends and family, and that you have followed the NXTGEN Racing page. If you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you've hit that thumbs up and you've hit that subscribe button as well, so you don't miss any of the races that go on at NXTGEN, including the ongoing GT3 League and, of course, the NXTGEN TCC League deck from next year as well, that will start up again in 2026. And if you're watching here over on the Twitch channel, then make sure you hit that follow button as well, so you're notified when all of the races go live over here, as we've got lots of different series alongside the NXTGEN on the Beehive Bill Twitch page. If you want to catch up with any of the previous races and you don't have enough time to watch the full 2.5-hour streams, be sure to head over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel, because we have the extended highlights of the opening 2 rounds available over there, and the extended highlights for this round will be available at the weekend. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we are looking forward to seeing you at Long Beach next time out. Thank you so much for watching here at Zandvoort, here on NXTGEN Racing. I have been Beehive Bill. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.